2008, babe. Set the scene for us.
In 2008, at the Olympic Games in Beijing, China, I was a gymnast, if you guys didn't know. I was competing. My agent at the time represented like a bunch of athletes, but one of the other athletes was this guy named Taylor Finney, and he was a USA track cyclist. I remember my agent at the time, she was like, if you run into any of my like athletes, make sure you guys say hi. You can form like a small community, have someone to talk to outside of your sport. I ran into Taylor Finney at the Olympics. We started dating. Sounds weird to say because
You're always trying to talk about your exes on the podcast, babe.
it's like such,
Tighten up,
it's like
dude.
not an ex. Because
Jeez.
he's like a good friend and it just didn't, whatever. He became a good friend. The dating lasted maybe like 3 weeks. Fast forward to the 2012 Olympics. Good friends with Taylor Finney. We haven't dated for 3 years and 11 months.
How long did you date Taylor Finney?
Maybe a month.
Okay, because the story goes back and forth. It was just one date. Now it's a month. I'm just trying to drill into the truth here.
Do you want me to get into the details right now?
Yeah. You know
Okay.
what else we doing?
Taylor Finney's one of the nicest human beings ever. He was so sweet. He was such a good friend. We like tried the dating thing, but we're made to be friends.
And you're 16 at the time.
Yeah. Held hands was like it was like that.
So you did kiss him.
You know this.
Was it a cheek kiss? French kiss? Which, by the way, what
It was
is
not a French
kiss? Is
kiss.
a French kiss making out? Is that this one and the same?
There was no tongue involved,
Okay.
if that makes you feel
All right.
better.
Okay.
Quickly figured out that we were meant to be friends. In 2012, I was at the Olympics working and I wanted to go support my friends competing. So I was like, I'm going to go to Taylor Finney's event. I was also covering it for the Today Show, like the lifestyle of the games. I go, and track cycling events are like really long. I knew nothing about track cycling. And so when I was sitting there supporting the event, I was sitting with Taylor Finney's teammate, Guy East, and he was trying to explain to me how track cycling works. At the same time, we get off of track cycling and he starts talking about books.
My brother, I don't know where this comes from. Maybe my parents, but he's not one to small talk.
No.
He's not going to sit and talk about the weather
No.
or how cool it is that we're in London. Have you been to the Harry Potter world? Which, did you do that in London?
No.
Okay, we should do that. We're going in London. That would be a blast. Anyway, he's going to be talking about serious stuff. And I think the book he was reading at the time was Atlas Shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged.
Which
I
is-
still don't understand. But we probably talked for like at least an hour. And we would talk on the train ride back from this event, which was like an hour to get back to the village. And at the end of our conversation, when we're like splitting ways going back, he's like, if you take anything away from this conversation, it's that I think you'd be perfect for my younger brother. Now, mind you, if you've read Atlas Shrugged, I'm very confused now. I'm like, I don't know how we got here.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know how this will ever happen.
Meanwhile, I am entering my 3rd season at Vanderbilt. I'm a hippie, no social media. I did not have like a smartphone. I had dreadlocks. I was wearing the old, the ponchos, the drug rugs, as they say.
Yeah.
That was my MO. And then my brother gives me a call.
You were talking about drug rugs.
That was my life. I was like anti-social media. Anyway, guy calls me and says, hey, I met Sean Johnson. He said Sean wants to have a tour of Vanderbilt. So I was like, okay.
I think I gave you my number first.
I feel as excited now as I did back then talking about this. Dude, that was freaking electric. When
Wait.
you get a girl's number, that's like, you made it, dude. So I called you. Again, not a big phone guy. I'm not going to text you. You found that out real quick. And I called you. I'll never forget. I left this RUF. I was like sitting in the courtyard of Vanderbilt. I remember the bench that I took the call on. And we talked. I remember you were quiet and intimidated because I was also like asking you like, what's your favorite Bible verse and all this stuff. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking, but you didn't automatically shoot me down.
We like might have exchanged contacts or like talked a couple times. My girlfriend at the time, who I was like living with, she's like, if you could go on a date with anybody, who would it be? And it was just like this impulsive thing. The first person that came to mind was you. And I was like, this guy, Andrew, I'm curious.